club's performance to fight back from a 3-0 deficit?
Pretty proud of that fact, that they never quit. They never quit on themselves. They never quit on their teammates, and they never quit on the fans. Because even when we were taking goals, okay, look, there might have been a few smattering of boos at halftime, which might have been deserved, but the fans stuck with us, and I thought it was good that they responded in a positive fashion. We were able to get a result.
And with a good night's sleep and being able to, some of the emotion wearing off, has that changed how you look back at the performance? You take more of a critical eye to it now. How do you sort of feel about that result?
Yeah, we're past the emotional stage, Matt. It's digesting the film this morning, talking to the coaching staff. Showed some film this morning where I wouldn't say we were overly critical, but we certainly pointed out some areas that we need to do better at. And hopefully that film with training tomorrow and Saturday prepares the team for Sunday against San Jose.
Sure. What are some of those areas that you guys do need to improve on going forward?
Well, I think it's been a common theme this year that when we play a little slow out of the back, teams are able to get compact and they make it difficult to us, and then we're susceptible to counters.
Yeah.
I think that was the storyline last night. It happened against Toronto. It happened against New England. There's been far too many games like that. So what we're trying to do is just their speed of play. Can we unbalance teams earlier in a sequence of possession? Some of those little nuances, just to try and create more, opportunities before a team's able to get back and become a solid defensive unit.
Sure.
San Jose coming up. Have you had a chance to scope this new DP they signed at all? I don't want to try.
He looks good on the first little highlights, and if you watch his highlight reel on YouTube and stuff, he looks good. So how he incorporates himself with the team and everything, we'll have to see. Obviously, it wasn't the result that they wanted, but he seems like a clever player.
He and Kelvin played together pretty recently, I think, right? Do you pick his brain at all in that?
I have
situation?
not picked Kelvin's brain. No, I will start doing that immediately. Thanks for that tip.
That's good. So can we get an exact transcription of your halftime speech last night?
No, look, I think I've said this before. I've gone on record and said this before. Look, the words that I say, I have to say them because that's my job. I'm the coach, whatever. The players themselves feel the same way I do. Even when I walked in, because I have to do the little halftime segment, I walk in, they're already talking about how it wasn't good enough. It wasn't up to their standard. So sometimes, there's a little flame there. I might spark that flame a little bit hotter, and then, then it just happens. It's a resolute group. I made mention in the press conference that the game in Portland last year, when we, were terrible in the first half, we came back, made a game out of it. Those moments, I really don't have to say that much.
Yeah.
Has Nuhu surprised you at all with how fast he's become a contributor? Did you think he was going to be playing this much for the first team this quickly?
No, that's been a pleasant surprise. It's been a pleasant surprise. He certainly has adjusted to his life in America. I think his learning the English language has helped him. And he's a fast, athletic kid. And he certainly has room to grow. And we're making sure that I put Jimmy Traore on him and make sure that he's learning from Jimmy. So the future's bright for the kid.
Where does he stack up in terms of just raw speed compared to other guys you've seen come through here?
I'd have to look at the the actual time and data and stuff. You guys see just with the eye test.
Right.
He's a tremendous athlete. He makes it more emphasized by just his arms, his whole body language. It looks like he's really moving fast, but that could be just a lot of arm waving. But he's been a good surprise, and he and Jovan, it's a pretty good pair over there on the left side.
Have you noticed any change in Christian since he got back from national team camp? I would think that'd be a pretty formative experience.
He was just more determined to make impact. think he sniffs it, he smells it, he knows he's close. I think he got a good taste of it. Was very appreciative that Bruce, found him some game time, and I thought that was good for Christian. So I'm pleased with that. And yeah, he's hungry.
Sure.
The physicality has been a storyline from the Colorado game and this last game. Would you say that's like a recent trend that you've noticed, or is that like a season-long thing with how teams are kind of trying to defend you like that?
Well, our league is a physical league, right? It's physical in the sense of fouls, yes, but athleticism and all that sort of stuff. So each game has a life of its own. I wouldn't want to accuse anybody of, purposely saying, okay, look, we're going to kick the crap out of people. I know it happens. I know it's a competitive business. Players on the field, sometimes the way the refs start reffing the game, all of those little nuances come into play. I do know that Nico's the most foul player in the league. I do know that. That's a statistical fact. And, certainly he was targeted last night. I can say that was a fact. And Sarvis then got the yellow, which, was good refereeing. Okay, the third foul, he gets the yellow. But then on that play where Nico lashes out, and I'm not making any excuses for Nico, but you can see that Sarvis kicks the ball into his stomach, and that's what set Nico off. So how do we protect the talented players from that type of abuse? That's a league-wide policy. That's a league-wide issue that they have to deal with.
Do you think instant replay in the future will help that?
I don't know if that would be it was a red card, so I think it would be a reviewable thing. Nico would have got the red card. Even on review, he would have got the red card.
Okay.
So we're not disputing that, but maybe there was some retroactive something for Sarvis. Who knows?